So you've got everything you need for your podcast. You've recorded your audio and video. You're so excited, but wait, you don't know how to master the audio or edit the video of your podcast. We know someone who can help. The podcast editors. Picture this. You record both audio and video for your podcast. You upload it to your remote editor, and a few days later, your podcast is ready for you to upload and push to the world. What will you do with your extra time? Connect with sponsors? Grow your Facebook group? Start that project or even course you have dreamed of for months? The possibilities are endless. We are blown away by the podcast editors and love working with them and using their services. They can edit audio, video, or both for your podcast. Don't get stuck trying to do this on your own. Get in touch with the podcast editors today. If you'd like to save 50% off of your first project, head over to howtomakeapodcast.co/thepodcasteditors. Hello and welcome to How to Make a Podcast. My name is Nick Miller and I am joined by my best good buddy, Mr. John Bunn. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's fun to be doing How to Make a Podcast, episode 2. We were just talking before we hit record just how excited we are about this. You know, it's crazy to think that a year and a half, 2 years into podcasting, like this has become our full thing. Like it's, you know, we're still doing other things on the side basically, but like this is kind of becoming our full-time job. And like, honestly, I didn't think that was ever possible, and it's so enjoyable. And so how am I doing? I'm doing great. Like I'm really doing great. Life is very good. How about you?
Yes. Life is very good for me as well. I'm so excited about the launch of this podcast. If for some reason you started listening to this one, that's fine, but we recommend that you listen to the one before it so that you can hear about our story. You know, we talk about, telling you how to make a podcast and what you should do and how you should build that. And so you might have questions about who we are and what quote unquote authority do we have to teach you on how to make a podcast. In the very first episode, we break all of that down, how we made $250,000 with just a podcast and what we did there. So we told you all about our story and how we got to that. And then we started breaking down how we made that money. So John, why don't you kind of do a quick summary of the things that we talked about in the last episode so people can get caught up if they, don't want to listen to the first one for whatever silly
Absolutely,
reason.
My friend. Absolutely. So we had 5 different ways to make 6 figures running a podcast. The first one, building an email list. Long story short, without an email list, it's really hard to grow your business. Start from the very beginning with an email list. The second thing, sponsorships. With a pure audience, you can make a lot of money with sponsors paying to show up to your pure audience. As a wedding filmmaker and having a podcast on filming weddings, there are so many wedding video specific companies that think we are the bee's knees. They think we are so cool, and they pay a lot of money to the tune of around $10,000 a month as we record this, just to show up in our podcast in the form of ads. And so those are the first 2. The next one, Nick, I'll throw it back to you. This is a fun one that has made us a lot of money in residual income. So why don't you tell them about number 3? Number
3 is digital templates. A phrase that I think gets thrown around a lot in our society and in our world is passive income, right? We all want to know how to make passive income. And I know John absolutely loves that phrase, and he wants us to talk all about passive income podcasting, but we're not going to do that. Income. But the idea with passive income, right, is you maybe set something up, you do a little bit, and then money just flows in. Okay, money just flows in. And if there is anything that we do that would really truly fall under the passive income idea, it's going to be digital templates. Okay, so what we did is we thought of things that we were using, that we were doing, that we know would help other people. Our very first digital template that we put together, and actually my wife did most of the work on this one, was write it was like 30 or 40 emails that we had kind of sent out to our clients and keeping communication with them, how to respond to them in various situations. So it was just an email template list. And so she wrote that, and then John had some that he used. We kind of compiled it all together, and we're selling this email template. And we sell it as save so much time. All you have to do is copy and paste and maybe change some words, change a few details, personalize them, make them your own. But if you are writing an email more than one time, you should have a template of it. Okay, that was kind of the idea. And so we're selling this digital template for $75, and people can buy these 40 emails that will help them run their business. We're thinking of things, think of things that can save people time. They spend a little bit of money now, but how much money and time will that save them over, months or years? And that's what these digital templates do. So we were brainstorming, and we have about 4 or 5 different digital templates right now that people can purchase that will help them in their wedding video business, because our other podcast, How to Film Weddings, that's what it is all about, wedding videography. And so we have all these templates that people can help them, and we have sales throughout the year. We are pushing them at different times, but though that's something that we have created one time, and now we are able to sell them over and over and over again. And we have hundreds and hundreds of sales from those templates. John, what do you got to add?
If you've built that audience and you have that email list, and you've got this vibe, we didn't start this, I don't think, until May of 2019, and so we started our podcast October of 18, so it was 6 months in or so. We launched these things, and the beauty of these is you do them once, you get them really great, you put them on your store. We have a Squarespace site, and then, use the store, you upload the PDF or whatever, and then when people purchase it, they automatically get a download, and we automatically get money. And, Nick and I, every time we get a sale, we send each other a little emoji with a cash symbol. And it's oh my goodness, it's hundreds and hundreds of times this has happened. A couple of things too, on average, our shop is making us over $1,000 to $1,500 a month right now. We haven't really added anything new into it for a long while. Besides, the little posing guide thing we did, but the templates themselves live on, and they're valuable today to somebody that found our podcast now. And so the work has been done. We did a lot of work to get them there, but now people can have, access to them almost every day. We get an order now, and, it trickles in, but it's just another way to generate income, and it really has added up. Some of the things like Nick was saying, we do some sales every now and then. One of our main colors for How to Film Weddings is yellow. So last year before Black Friday, we did Yellow Wednesday and did 50% off our entire shop. And I want to say we did several $1,000s of sales just in that day. People gearing up for the holidays or whatever, and we'd been talking about our, you can promote your shop on your website or on your podcast, and so by the time we got there, we had our Facebook group, we had different things, and we're able to say, hey, use this promo code today only for 50% off of your order, and then people just started ordering and ordering and ordering, and so the idea of having digital templates is you can use your knowledge, whether that be an email template, or if you're a baker, a cooking template, or a recipe book, or there's a million different things. But, our goal with this podcast is to get you out of just the regular thinking, the rut that you're in, and say, well, how can I generate something or create something that could make me money long term? What knowledge do I have that people keep asking me about? Maybe you should make some digital templates for your site.
Yeah. Think about that thing that with your podcast that can somehow relate to your podcast. Think of that thing that you do really, really well, and start with that. Okay. Or what is something that people continue to ask you about? What is something that you talk about on your podcast? And then people are like, man, how can I get a hold of that? Man, what is this thing? Think of some of that stuff, and then put it out there and sell it. One of the things that John and I also decided to do is we want to associate our How to Film Weddings brand with something that's a little more higher end. Okay. And so, are there email templates out there that you could buy from other people that are probably a little bit cheaper? Sure. Okay. But we decided that because we wanted that premium idea that How to Film Weddings is worth it and stuff. So as you're thinking about, digital templates and all of that stuff, thinking of the price and what you what you want your pricing and what you want your products to say about your brand is definitely something that you need to consider. That's a different conversation that I'm sure we'll get into, down the road, but just something to be mindful about whenever it comes to these digital templates. John, do you have anything else to add about templates before we move on?
I don't think so. I think just making sure that you're taking the time to look at some, your business, your podcast, what can you offer to your people that is something that they would pay you for. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's really good. So we are getting ready to jump to a break here in a second, but whenever we come back, we are going to talk about the one thing that has made us the most money in the shortest amount of time period. Did I say that? I said that right the second time.
You always say it right. No matter what you said, it was right.
Yes. After our break, we're going to talk about the one thing that has made us a lot of money in a short amount of time. Be sure to stay tuned for that. We'll be back here soon.
If you have a pulse, you probably hate the subject of taxes and running the bookkeeping portion of your business. But like it or not, if you want to be a successful podcaster, you are going to have to pay attention to your numbers. But don't worry, we have the answer for you, Core Financial. Our friends over at Core Financial have taken the pressure off of us so we can focus on what we love doing most, running our podcast. They take care of all of our taxes, monthly bookkeeping, financial plans, and make sure we take full advantage of all of the tax benefits we qualify for. It just feels good knowing we aren't going to get a big surprise during tax season. If you are serious about building a business with your podcast, head on over to howtomakeapodcast.co/core to see what they can do for you.
We can't tell you how frustrating it was for us to upload our podcast when we first got started. The websites were clunky, we had data limits, and it was all so confusing. That is, until we found Zencastr. Zencastr is an online platform built for podcasters to not only upload their podcasts, track their listeners, connect their audience, and so much more. Zencastr plans have no upload or download limits, so your cost won't grow as you do. Embed their player that automatically updates to show the latest episode of your show. Zencastr lets you see your podcast downloads along with your traffic, website, and Google Analytics. Zencastr also supports multiple podcasts under one account. The best part is, if you already have a podcast on another platform, you can switch to Zencastr with a one-click importer, all free of charge. So what are you waiting for? Head over to howtomakeapodcast.co/Zencastr to start saving time and money with your podcast today. Well, we are back from break, and now I'm going to ask our question of the day presented by Honeybook. Honeybook is our CRM of choice. It keeps us updated with contracts and payments and client organization. If you would like more information about Honeybook, head over to howtomakeapodcast.co/Honeybook. And our question of the day presented by Honeybook is this: when should I set up affiliate links?
Love this question, of course. We came up with the question, so of course we love it. But this is the next item on our list, affiliate links. For those of you that aren't familiar, you've probably purchased things through affiliate links. Amazon offers these, other companies offer these where you can sign up with them and you share a link for a product that you already use and love. If somebody clicks it and buys it, you get a commission. That is the small definition of affiliate links. For us, when should you set them up? I would recommend, before you even hit, upload on your very first episode, to get a few affiliate links set up. One of our favorite website is called Kit. Is it kit.co? I think so, Nick. Where you can build a kit of anything and everything you use. And, we have kits for the kinds of microphones that we use or a podcasting setup or a wedding day setup, and it links through different things like Amazon, things like that. So you can have a kit where people go in and they can just say, I want to add everything that John uses to film a wedding to my cart and buy it. And so that has made us hundreds of dollars. I don't think we started early enough, Nick. I feel like we didn't start doing it until maybe a year in, and it was just like, come on, why didn't we think of this? Why didn't we do this? And so the answer to the question for me, I'm excited to hear what Nick would say, but when should you set up affiliate links? I would say immediately. Right now, whether you've already been going, you haven't been going, Nick, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Set them up as soon as you can. You now, in setting up, a lot of these affiliate links are going to need stuff like EIN or W-9s or, that kind of stuff, because they are paying you money, but then there's taxes that get involved and all of that kind of stuff. So as you set up that, you just need to be mindful of that. But I would say don't let that deter you from signing up. If you think of it this way, something like YouTube, it's kind of an affiliate link, because every time someone watches our video, we get a little bit of ad revenue and that kind of stuff. And we're not talking, hundreds of thousands of dollars each month, but whenever for something like that, it gives us like $50 to $200 a month, that just adds to this total. Maybe you're like, well, I'd really want sponsors and I really want all this stuff, but you don't feel like you don't have the connections for sponsors. Affiliates is a great thing to start off with. We had an affiliate link for HoneyBook very, very early on, and we did nothing with it. And we wish that we would have started our show with our HoneyBook affiliate so that we could just push that, because we were both using it and we both loved the product, and we would have, gladly pushed it, but we just weren't thinking that way. So if you have something that you can push from the beginning that gives you some sort of affiliate commission, even if it's just $10 or $5, something very small, but if you can push that from the beginning, that's going to be very helpful. Something that we have stumbled upon recently, John was talking about kit.co, which is great, and you can link anything to that. Amazon has started offering what they are called Amazon influencers. So you can set up an Amazon affiliate account, but this is different, and it's basically like a kit from kit.co, which is only Amazon. So you can have everything set up and you can do the same thing, but you just add your links. So you're just looking for Amazon stuff and to post it in there. And we have started, we were approved for that. And I think, at least as of recording of this podcast, the Amazon influencer is fairly new. So they're accepting a lot more people than I think that they will in 6 to 8 months from the time of us recording this. So if you are not an Amazon influencer, I would look that up and maybe sign up for it, because all you need to do is have an Instagram account and a Facebook page or a YouTube channel, something like that. And then we got approved right away. So check out the Amazon influencer account.
Yeah, and when you're thinking about it, you're like, well, I don't have anybody listening to me. I don't have a brand yet. I don't have, but the thing that you're not probably thinking about is like right now, in 18 months, 20 months into doing our podcast, the first 20 episodes have no sponsors. They have no links to affiliates, nothing. And those are some of our most downloaded episodes ever, because when people find your podcast, they're going to probably find your episode that, you've pushed out, the most recent one, and then they're going to go back and start at the beginning for the most part. So like episode 1 for our podcast is one of our top 5 downloaded episodes ever out of 105. And we don't push any product. We don't talk about any, affiliate link, anything like that. So you may not be, influential right now with only a few people listening to your show, but getting those things set up early, when people do find your show and you're pushing those things, then they're going to, it's going to help you in the long run. And you never know, you may be putting some stuff out there and people do find those links and they do find them helpful. And, with our community, when we've built this community, we will tell them, hey, these are our affiliate links. If you've found them to be helpful, please click and buy here, because we get a small commission. We've been able to make little tutorial videos based on products that we like, or little things on our YouTube channel, and it really drives a lot more sales. And so that's been a great way. That's just like how Nick, you mentioned it. And I think it's very, a good way about mentioning it, but it's like, it's not a huge amount, but it's one more stream that's trickling into this big, pot that we're collecting all this money. And so like our sponsors make us a lot of money, our affiliate links make us some money, our digital templates make us some money. We start looking at all these things by building that email list and getting those people in there and continually feeding money into that pot. It starts to really grow, and you're just like, oh my goodness. Yep. And it folds back on top of itself. 6-8 months ago, we were making a few $1,000s less per month, and every month it's going up by $300 to $600 of total income that we're making. And it keeps going up and up and up because our audience continues to grow. So affiliate links, Very, very important to what we do. Nick, you mentioned this before the break. You said this thing, and this is true, has made us the most money that we've. This thing is the most. I'd love for you to talk about number 5 in the ways that we are making this 6-figure income in 2020.
Yes, the fifth way that we were able, and this is probably makes up at the time of the recording, close to half of the money that we made in our first 18 months, was we launched a course. Which we labeled it the Complete Wedding Videographer course. We had it on sale for 1 week. I want to let you know that if you want to go course route, eventually that is fine. It takes a lot of time. Lots and lots of time. John and I sat in a room together and recorded for probably about 50 hours over a 1 week period, recording all this stuff.
Good times. It was good times.
It was fun, but it was a lot of work. We spent a lot of money. Should we share how much we actually spent to get it going? We spent probably close to $50,000 out of pocket to get our course up and running. We hired a marketer that knew Facebook ads, and he knew landing pages and all of that stuff. So probably about half of the money that we went towards him. And then the other half, a little bit more actually, went towards Facebook ads and Instagram ads. And we sunk, I don't know, it was probably around $30,000 in ads alone for this course. So we spent a lot of money, okay? But we brought in. Do I say how much we brought in? Do I want to do that, or
you could say we brought in a couple $100,000?
Yeah. There you go.
Which is crazy. Like that's mind blowing. Like what?
Yes.
Like writing checks to ourselves after that was like, is this real life?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
And so we decided to do a I don't know what they call it, but we had the course open for 1 week. And so people had 1 week to sign up and purchase it, and then we pulled it off the shelf, kind of like how Disney, does the vault. The movie's only available for so long, and then it goes away for years or whatever, kind of like that. We do plan on relaunching that again later this year, but that made us a lot of money really, really quickly. Again, the amount of work that went into that was so much work, so much time, but financially it paid off for us.
Yeah, and if you're starting a podcast, been doing it for a while, we're not saying, hey, start out and make a course. But we knew in the back of our mind when we got going that if this thing took off, that is a big fish that we could really go for, And so I think maybe 10 months into recording, after we had some sponsors and had some money set aside, and it became actually feasible. If we save everything we make with this podcast and pour it back into the course launch, we will have paid cash for a course launch, and then we will have this product that we can then sell again and again. And our goal would be to sell it 2 to 3 times, 2 to 3 different weeks a year, and launch it. So, we're coming up in the summer months as we're recording this, and we're going to be launching it again, and we'll run a ton of ads again to it, but we don't have to go now and record it again. We don't have to go shoot it and edit it and put together the branding. And now we can, we've done the hardest part of it, and we've created this kind of like in our digital templates, but this is like a digital template on steroids, a 30-hour course for everything you need to know when it comes to wedding videography. And so you may be a baker and you want to create something that's not a massive course. Maybe you want to create a 15-minute course, 20-minute course on baking cookies, like the best chocolate chip and no bake and peanut butter and whatever. And it's a cookie baking class that you have, 2 hours worth of stuff. You set up an iPhone, you record it, you sell it for $100, or, if you have an audience and you've built that, people, if you do it right, that is a product that you can continue to sell. So there's small courses, there's, big, massive courses, but it's something that even if you're not in an educational podcast, that you could really make a lot of money doing if you think about it and plan it correctly. So again, these things, we want to just kind of, you tickle that part of your brain that's like the marketing side of it, or get you thinking, get you out of your rut and just say, maybe I could create something. Our goal is to spark that creativity, whether we've had people join our Facebook group that are like sewing. They want to do a podcast on sewing, and it's like, man, my marketing brain's like, oh, that'd be so cool to have like a sewing class and a sewing course, or a live sewing course, or like, there's just so many things with every single market. And so you can think about this, apply it to you, and make it uniquely you. Nick, I mentioned a Facebook group. I don't know if you know or not, but we have a Facebook group. Just search how to make a podcast. And the community's growing. It's incredible just what's going on in there. If you're listening to this and you're not in the group, why? Why aren't you in the group? I mean, we're there. We want you to be there. Anyway, that's courses.
Come be a part of the group. One of the things that we say a lot on our How to Film Weddings podcast, what we did at the very beginning, and it kind of trickles every now and then, is, we want to be more like a crock pot than a microwave. Okay. Microwave is, you want your food, you want it now, you put it in and it's done. Crock pot, you kind of have to plan ahead a little bit. You're putting a roast in a crock pot and it's staying in there for 6, 7, 8, 10 hours, something like that. And, a crock pot roast. Try to say that. Crock pot roast.
People are saying it in their cars. Crock pot roast.
Yeah, they are. One that's been in the crock pot for all day is going to taste so much better than you microwaving one. Okay. And so as we talk about these ideas, how to make all of this money, it takes time. And we laid a lot of groundwork ahead of time. Okay. And so if you're like, man, I want to do this. I want to take these 5 steps that I've learned from these last 2 episodes, and I want to make, $250,000 and all of that stuff. We want to let you know that in order for you to do it and do it well and do it right, it's going to take some time. Okay. You're not going to be able to just tomorrow produce a course and then the next day have it edited and then the next day share it with everyone and make, hundreds of thousands. That it's just not going to happen that way. But if you take your time and you market yourself well and you put yourself out there and you lay the foundation and the groundwork and you're consistent in your uploads and communicating with people, this stuff can happen to you. You just have to make those steps. So I wanted to do that as an encouragement to you, and also kind of give you a little bit of warning too. You can do it, but it will take you time. Are you all in? How John asked me when we started our podcast, this might be 2 years before we even see a penny. Are you willing to do that? Okay. That's something that you need to know. But we do have something that can help you, where we break down the entire process of how we went from having no listeners and no podcast all the way up to making $250,000 with our podcast. And that is the Podcast Blueprint. It is a course that we have put together that breaks down everything. If you are interested in hosting your own podcast and monetizing it to making money, and maybe even possibly making a supporting income off of that, head over to podcastblueprint.co. You can purchase it, you can sign up for it, you can get more information about it there. Thank you so much for listening to our new podcast. This was episode 2 of the How to Make a Podcast. We have enjoyed being your hosts, and until next time, we will see you.
We'll see you.